Hey. What's happening, y'all? This is Ashley Schuler, Systems Lab Live. This is topic number 2. Well, we here talking about knowledge management. But welcome to the Systems Lab Live, the Wednesday, August 17th edition. Are you excited? Anyone have a teacup ready? Okay, the tea is the official drink of choice for a Systems Lab Live. You get your notebook, you get your tea, and you get ready for this live show talking about what it means to manage projects efficiently, lead teams, and talk about managing operations and developing processes. I had a post today on systems on I had a post today on Twitter, okay? And it was talking about how it was celebrating 85 subscribers on YouTube. Okay? Many people wouldn't celebrate at 85. They're going to go on the pivotal moments like 50 and 100 and 150, 1,000. I am going to celebrate at 85 because you know why? Because I have 85 people who have subscribed to my YouTube channel and they didn't have to. Subscribe is really the first step in getting someone engaged in the content that I am developing. This is a live show, all on project management, managing projects well, leading teams and team operations, and developing processes, right? Especially if you're a small business owner or consultant in the tech, creative, startup space, consulting business, this channel is for you. And also, there's a lot where you can learn about how you as a leader want to lead, manage, organize your projects, make sure your team management and operations are streamlined, how to get ahead with personal productivity. And I'm excited about the 85 because I can think about last year around this time, how I was really unsure about launching a YouTube channel. I really was. I was like, how am I going to do this? A YouTube channel. Who's going to want to subscribe? Why are they going to want to subscribe? All the things in between. Shout out to Kurt the Connector. I'll always give flowers because he really pushed for it. He was really like, you should do it. Like, you should do it. And so I decided to do it. I decided to do that. Systems Lab Live is actually an iteration of 1.0, which was behind the Zoom screen. And the second iteration of this is a YouTube channel. And actually, what many people don't know, and you'll see it as time goes on, if you are a part of my journey, you want to stay a part of my journey, Systems Lab is actually something bigger. And there's more to come. There's so much more to come. But I'm excited about this because I actually, again, thinking about last year, I actually did not think that I could really have enough content to talk about, right? And some of these are limiting beliefs, lack of confidence, all these things in between. But I'm so happy that I have started this YouTube channel. I'd like to post up more videos though. I'd like to do that. But I am working on creating a mini like SOP list. I guess a better word to say is I have a list that I'm developing for key tasks because I would love to offload some of these key tasks. And what's up, Aminata? Great to see you again. I'd love to offload some of these tasks and pull a team member in that really wants to help me build out some dynamic content. As someone who is a project management type of person, I can do the content, I'm doing the content, but I would love to have a content, a strategist, a creative that would really be interested in taking my content to the next level. That's I'm just going to put it out there on Front Street. that I would love to have someone that can do that. But I know that I also have to do a few more things in terms of developing my brand and things that I would offload and things that I wouldn't offload because it's a journey and a process. But nonetheless, we are here. Thank you to the 85 people that are watching on YouTube. I really, really appreciate it. I think that, what you're doing by, coming through and let me know, that you like liking what I'm doing. I always have to, by the way, check on iPad to see if my sound is on. Because I did something last Wednesday. I did a whole 39-minute, like it was fire presentation on task management part 2, and it was fire. The whole thing was, but no one could hear me. It was horrible. But let's get into the show. We're about 6 minutes in, people. And one thing that I definitely want to ask, please, please, please put in the comments, drop your name, location, and what you are working on. Would also love to know as well. Would also want to know as well. Talk to me about what you are finding challenging in this season in terms of your productivity. What is that area that you are looking to get a little bit more tighter on? I'd love to know that in the comments if we could. I had a funny Instagram story as well. I have bought, let me show y'all what I bought, and then we're going to get into the lesson of the day. Let me show y'all what I bought. Shure MV 88 plus. So funny story is let me see if I can pull this up. And I was hype about this. And I don't know why it just didn't click. I felt like I thought I saw some place that you could use this on Instagram Live. I really thought that you could. So I bought this device. Why? Because I was on a live with Ask Aaron, and the actual audio was not really that good. And I was actually disturbed by it. I was really triggered by it. So I bought this. Lo and behold, it's in landscape mode, and I'm trying to make this joint in portrait mode. So I got to figure out other uses for it. But I'm not going to lie, good audio makes me happy. Having good audio makes me happy. So I don't think I'm going to return this. I thought about it. I was like, no. And also too, I also don't like returning things unless I have to. But nonetheless, I bought the MV88 Plus video kit. I like it a lot. I've used it to record Loom audio. Gotta love Loom. I can use it on Marco Polo with my mastermind group. I can use it to record video on Instagram stories, which I just got the 60 seconds, and reels are 90 seconds. I love that. But I don't know, folks, save money with a bundle. What's this? See, these are what gets me into trouble. Like I said, I really, really thought that I could use this. Yeah. I literally thought I could use this on Instagram Live. Ooh, this is discontinued. My goodness. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I honestly really did think of it, but that's neither here nor there. Very good. I'm going to stop my screen share. We got a comment. I love this. Aminata says, joining from Alexandria, Virginia, my goal is to teach financial literacy to my community. I think, and I just came from a webinar or a presentation on this, and I think what's powerful about what your goal is that you are doing something that is beyond yourself. So kudos to you, Aminata, for that. What I like about what she's building is she's building something from the ground up, number one. Number two, there's a lot of project management and process related things that is going to happen once you are starting to develop this. So things like SOPs, things like documentation, things like creating a knowledge base, which is what we're going to be talking about today. What does it mean to create a knowledge base? Okay. Now, we talked about knowledge management, which is truly about capturing, sharing, and it is disseminating of information. However, we have not discussed today what is a knowledge base. Okay. Knowledge base. I'm actually going to take this and move it over here a little bit. So with that said, I think this is really, really important that we underscore this point. I'm going to actually go to 150. All right. What is a knowledge base? Okay. A knowledge base is an internal or customer facing library dedicated to a specific topic, product, or service. A knowledge base is intended to be a repository of information for those who are using a specific product or service. Come on, Whimsical, with the spell check. Okay, so knowledge base. This is where you store information. Now, what type of information? Well, we did go over that on Monday. You gotta watch that live stream, but we did go over what it means to have explicit knowledge, tacit knowledge, and implicit knowledge. So explicit knowledge is things that are like guides and SOPs, things that are very straightforward, a brand guide. Tacit knowledge is it's those nuanced type of things that cannot necessarily always be documented very straightforward, if that makes sense. So tacit knowledge is understanding what specific words hit when it comes to a sales page. Okay. It's knowing how to position in terms of your sales call to know how to overcome objections. Cool. Now, implicit knowledge is really that it's really based on the job learning, things that you've picked up because you've performed a task. So those are the different types of knowledge. Now, if you think about it from the perspective of when I think about the knowledge that I have, we should think about this outside of those three buckets and think about the notes that you take, think about the books that you read, the information that you consume. Just started reading this book called Second Brain. I've heard of it for months because I'm in the Notion Ambassador community. I also heard about this from @ThisIsNikki on Instagram, and she's reading it, or she has read it. I just started reading it today on the treadmill, and I think this particular book actually is it's in perfect alignment with where I am right now in my life, in understanding how do I create a digital center for notes, ideas, projects, and everything in between. Now, I've created pieces of my second brain or my knowledge base already. It's a bit frazzled, but we are going to get into that over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, but we're living in a digital world, okay? And one of the things that we have to start thinking about is how are we capturing and how are we categorizing and how are we synthesizing and distributing our information where it makes sense. It's not just for you, but it's also for others. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. So, with that said, we have a knowledge base. So, it was a great question. I was in a community group and somebody asked, "Hey, what apps do you use to create SOPs?" Now, for me, you can take two approaches. Answer the question directly. Nothing wrong with that. I don't hate it. But then that's also a loaded question. It's a loaded question because that goes into what are the types of SOPs that you have? What's the goal of the SOP? Is it being shared with someone? Is somebody writing it for your business and your brand? Where are you going to store it? What information are you going to capture? How are you going to capture it? What system or tool are you going to use? Which I know that was her answer. So I gave her the answer, but I also followed up with 5 questions because that again clicked off with having a knowledge base. So how many of you all, and put a 1 in the chat or put a comment or leave a comment, how many of you all have a knowledge base? 2, how many of you all are inundated with information? So much information. Now, we went over this too last live stream about information management. How do we manage the information that is coming into our world? From emails to texts to voice memos to courses that we're taking, books that we're reading, being inside of ClickUp or your project management tool of choice. How do we know? Again, there's 3 things to know. How do we know what information to store? Meaning, what information do I need to store? Meaning, I need it, I'm going to store it, and maybe it's on reserve for another time. What information do I need to actually delegate to somebody else? And what information do I personally need to act on? Okay. And I think we really have to start there to start understanding this information management piece. And then, of course, there's this aspect of what does this information do in terms of when is it relevant? And I'll give you a perfect example. So I have and I'll probably redo it at some point. I don't know, but it's a resource library that I have. We were going to get into this probably next week, talking a bit about, we're going to talk a little bit about this, but this is like super, super important. I needed to make sure that you all understand that. Okay. And I don't even use this little tab a lot. One thing I wish that we could do is, okay. So this is my resource list. So this is helpful for me when it comes to what information do I think I need for later? Can I? Okay. I think I can. Y'all, I like to go in a little bit. So I have this right here, and I actually have, and I probably should put a note or something in here, but I don't put notes in here. But, again, this is like 101. I'm just building this out. I've had this probably for like 2 years, though. Real talk, though. Any article that I want to save for later, I put it in here. So I have a little extension called Save to Notion, and it automatically saves it in this format. So I also, what I do here is why I want a resource and learning library is because I know that there's some information that I may not need right now, but I need to go back later. And so when it comes to information that you are consuming, you absolutely need to better understand what information do I need right now? versus what do you need later. And that could actually determine if you are actually going to engage in a piece of content, a course, a webinar, whatever that is. You should know, based upon what you are working on, what information you need. So that's why you see Agile project man. You have Agile right here because I switched up the database. NFT, because I'm into learning about the metaverse. And what else do I have? Podcasting. So I just tag it right here, and I'm going to tag this Agile. I'm going to go into the Agile world. Knowledge base. This is probably more of process. Is there one? Do I have an SOP one? I'm very okay. I am very. I don't even have one on documentation. Okay, documentation. We'll go with that one. Yeah, we'll go with that one with documentation. We'll tag it, and this is how I tag them. And then therefore, if I'm searching for something, I can go and filter things through. Quick guide in creating a knowledge base right here. Knowledge base right here. Documentation. Done. Pause. Okay, y'all are back. Beautiful, beautiful. So that is how I classify that. Now, what I should do is I believe, and I think I have a couple things that are hidden. One is future value. If I untag that, it's going to go with relevant, not so relevant, and can be useful. I think I need to bring that back so that I know what I am categorizing, what I'm learning. So we'll talk all about that next week, but let's get back to the lesson at hand. Now we know what a knowledge base is. Which I think is super important when we're talking about the processes that we're developing, not only for ourselves, but also other people. So what are the benefits of a knowledge base? Okay, or why a knowledge base? It saves time, organization, saves money, not recreating processes, and improves communication. So say that with me, y'all. There's 3 things: saves time, organization, saves money, not creating processes, and improves communication. Okay? That's really, really important to know. All right. So examples of knowledge bases: FAQs, troubleshooting guides, step-by-step instruction, how-to videos, and documentation and SOPs. Now, here is a fun little hack that I think someone told me about, and I have it again in another tool. And so even when I'm thinking about bringing everything together, I have to really start outlining what all of that looks like. So I do have actually a section that says in Airtable, which again, that could be a really good tool to create a knowledge base, but we'll get to that at the end. Any type of question that I run into, I put the question in there and I answer it, and then that can become content. Easy way to create your an internal knowledge base for your content. That could be for your course. That could be for your FAQ for your websites. That could help with a product improvement or a programmatic improvement by having these FAQs. All right. Where do you start? Really good question. Where do you start? You start with a goal in mind. I think this is really important. Start with understanding, number 1, why do I want to have a knowledge base? What is the purpose? What am I looking to achieve? Simple enough, but we often don't slow down in the first place with any of their aspects of our business. I wouldn't say any, but I'm just going to speak from experience I've done stuff where I have not asked myself, why are you doing this? I think it's a really good question to ask. Why am I doing this? And I think the why really helps you to really understand, you know, the purpose in what you're doing. Yeah, I wouldn't skip past that part. It's why. It's what's the goal. Okay? Very good, very good. Organizing your topics into categories and subcategories. Okay? So start there. Start whiteboarding, start writing things down, and start to ask yourself, all right, what are my main categories when it comes to the knowledge that I have? And let's put yourself in the shoes of you as the leader, as a team lead, okay, as the implementer, wherever you are, and whoever is watching. You really should have a handle inside of your organization about the different types of areas inside the business. So, for instance, there could be something on hiring. Now, that's pretty broad, but so you're going to want to have subcategories. So, you're going to have the hiring process, the onboarding process, the actual, what do you call, 90-day review. Okay. You're going to want to have criteria to measure that. Then you want to have an offboarding process. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Categories and subcategories. It's not just content creation. And if it's there, then that's fine. But you may have different subcategories. Podcasting, YouTube Live, your YouTube channel. You see what I'm saying? So there's a category, and then there's different subcategories. All right. So I want you in the chat, and this will actually be a call to action to really start to think about, if I were to create a knowledge base, what would my categories be? What would my categories be? That's something to think about. If you are going to be in a team meeting tomorrow, if you are in Slack right now, take this link, share it with someone, and say, "Hey, I want you to watch this, and then let's talk about it in our next huddle or our next one-on-one." All right, next up, choose the system. But I also want to point out this part right here. Ask team members for input on information and how they want to interact with the information. Okay? So what this means is a couple things. Deciding what information should be inside of the knowledge base. That goes into the goals and why you're doing what you're doing. But pulling that out even more, let's talk a little bit about that. What are you building? Okay? What are you building? What information should be inside of the knowledge base? What are the categories? What are the subcategories? Choose the system. What tool are you going to use to house this? Many different types of tools. I'm going to go right here. You got Tranual. You got Notion. You got Guru. And it's all going to depend on where you are with your business, the complexity, the model, the scale, that type of thing. I want to even say, does HubSpot have something? I'm looking up right now. HubSpot knowledge. Yeah. HubSpot has a knowledge base. I bet that's good though. Let's go right here and put that in here. I bet HubSpot is really good. I'd be interested in learning about HubSpot. And so remember too that and wanting to go back to, what a knowledge base is, I think it's important to know that you can create an internal one for your team, which can be SOPs, again, troubleshooting guides, things like that. And then an external one for your customers and your clients. I think there's two different ways to approach it. Again, video demonstration, all these things. I mean, you want it to be a one-stop shop so that they're not constantly emailing you or complaining that we can't find the information. So ClickUp has a knowledge base, a lot of articles, a lot of how-tos. Many of your big tech and software companies will do that. And if you're not, that's cool too. But you may want to create a knowledge base so that you can then begin to offload information or common questions or themes and build out a knowledge base that will support empowering your clients and your customers and your team members to search for information and help them to pull the information necessary so that they can begin to get them from point A to point B. So I like this a lot. We will most certainly pick this up next week as we talk a bit more about what are the key elements of a knowledge base. All right, what are the key elements of a knowledge base? We'll tap into that. And then we'll also start to then talk about different aspects of building out your knowledge base or knowledge management for note-taking, for reading books, for conferences, and creating a project repository. That's going to be really exciting as well. I think for me, I showed you all the Airtable base that has all of my Systems Lab Live titles. For me, that is a knowledge base for me. That is a personal internal knowledge base that's going to help me with how I organize the lives, the topics, when I when I actually went on live and everything. There's a couple things that I want to do in terms of supporting it with links like Whimsical, like you just saw there, and including links in there as well. I'd like to put the YouTube links inside of the knowledge base as well, and supporting PowerPoint and other type of presentation attachment. So I'm excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, and I want to do at least some of this myself, right? Because it's truly my knowledge. Therefore, I can then create some documentation once I have a team member on board, and that person will be able to keep the knowledge base updated. It's the same thing for all of my Instagram content that I have that serves as a knowledge base as well. So I already see I have a lot of different types of knowledge bases, but I have to create this digital library, this digital HQ, I should say, that will allow for me to find information quickly. That might be, that might also mean too that I have links, places, but if I can centralize a Ashley hub where that's my spot that I go to for note taking, it has a link to my knowledge bases, and I could just go and use that as a resource. That would be great. That would be super, super good. And yeah, that is exactly what I would like to do. Yeah. I'm just looking at my Notion now to see if I have anything in there that I would like to do. Yeah, there's definitely areas. I think I have Ashley's notes lab in here. Again, that was a key part of what I'm looking to build out. I'm sorry, I'm looking like that because I was like, didn't I? Oh, you know what? I've developed things, so I'm developing a dashboard for this. I see what's going on. I was like, it didn't look right. It did not look right at all. Yeah, I gotta consolidate a whole bunch of stuff. It don't even look right. It don't even look right. Don't even look right. All right, y'all. This is it for tonight. Brief lesson, but I think it was mighty enjoyable. It was mighty enjoyable. I would say, if we're looking at the challenge of the week, two things. Number one is write down your goal for knowledge management. And number two, write down 3 to 4 categories that you would organize your knowledge management. I want you to text live to 626-722-5444. That is where you can text me. Ask me some questions about this live, what I said. Maybe I can explain something a little bit more. So make sure you tune on in. I also definitely want to give out the opportunity. There are VIP day slots. There's some VIP slots available for fall. This is where we can really sit down together for the VIP day and really create a strategy for your business operations, streamline it. This is a ClickUp VIP day. Click on this link for more information, and then you could also book a call as well. This is intended to be something where we are building out the spaces, and then we are literally creating these spaces and these workflows so that you can be able to work more efficiently in your business. So learn more about that with ashleyschuler.com/VIP day. And that's all I have for y'all. That is it. I got a 9:00 meeting. Very excited about it. Going to it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. All right. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.